Emily walked into her stable. The horse stall was empty. The brass nameplate still read Atlas, but the gate hung open and the bedding was cold. A stable hand said her father had come before dawn. He loaded the gelding into a trailer and left without a word.
Not Atlas. He wouldn't take him.
Her phone buzzed. Frank's name. She opened the message. It was time. She needs this. Stop being selfish. Emily stared at the screen until the letters blurred. The stable hand had gone back to his work, and the barn was silent.
He sold my horse. For her wedding.
She didn't type a reply. Her fingers shook, but she couldn't find any words that might undo it. The hay still smelled like Atlas. The stall was full of his absence. She stood alone in the barn, phone loose in her hand, as the morning light stretched across the floor. She left the barn without looking back. The drive home was a blur of gravel roads and dust. At her small house, she walked to the shelf where she kept her show ribbons and a framed photograph.
That horse was the only thing I ever had that felt completely mine.
She pressed Frank's number. It rang 4 times. At his house, Frank saw her name appear. He muted the ringer and set the phone down.
She'll get over it. Jennifer's wedding is what matters now.
The call went to voicemail. Emily's voice was quiet but sharp.
Dad, you sold my horse. Call me back. He knew what Atlas meant. This wasn't about money. It was about who mattered.
She sat in the living room, the phone silent in her lap, waiting for a call she already knew wouldn't come. The house felt like a stranger's. She drove to Frank's house and let herself in. He was on the sofa, phone in hand.
You sold Atlas. For her wedding venue. Say it.
It's what families do, Emily. Stop making everything about you.
He's my horse. I've had him for 11 years.
And Jennifer has needed this wedding since she was a little girl. It's time you thought about someone else.
You can still ride at the school barn. It's not like you don't have options.
You two decided my life was worth less than a deposit. I will never forget that.
She turned and walked out. The door closed hard behind her. In her truck, she gripped the steering wheel. Then the thought struck her, the ownership papers. Atlas was registered solely in her name with the Equestrian Federation.
He couldn't have transferred Atlas without my signature. The paperwork would raise flags.
Emily spent the next hour calling every stable in the county. No one had records of a recent chestnut gelding arriving. A yard manager in the next town said he'd heard about a horse sold privately, but he wouldn't give a name.
Frank made sure no one would help me. He's hidden Atlas where I can't reach him.
She tossed the phone onto the table. Then the screen lit up with a call, Dr. Brandon. Emily grabbed it and answered.
Emily, I'm glad I caught you. The buyer's vet just called. He needs your signature for Atlas's transfer paperwork.
What transfer? I didn't authorize any sale.
According to the Federation database, Atlas is registered solely to you. They can't process the ownership change without your signature.
I never signed anything, Dr. Brandon. My father sold him behind my back.
Then I need to look at the documents they sent. If your signature appears on a bill of sale you didn't sign, we have a serious problem.
Dr. Brandon called back within the hour. His tone was heavier than before.
The bill of sale has your signature, Emily. But it's wrong. The loops are off. The slant is forced.
He sent the scanned document. Emily opened the file on her phone, fingers unsteady. The line where her name should have been, Emily Hayes. It looked traced, each letter a slow, deliberate betrayal.
He sat at his kitchen table and copied my name. He didn't even do it well.
I've been your vet for 9 years. I know your signature from every vaccination record. This is a forgery.
Emily stared at the fraudulent ink. Something inside her shifted from grief to steel.
I'm legally obligated to report this to the buyer's vet and the Federation. They'll likely involve the police.
The ground shifted. What had been a family wound was now a crime. But that crime was her lifeline.
He's going to report it. I'm not the only one who knows what he did.
The bill of sale had a contact number for the buyer, Robert Keller. Emily dialed it. A gruff voice answered after 3 rings.
This is Emily Hayes. You bought a horse named Atlas from my father. I never agreed to sell him.
What are you talking about? Frank told me it was a family decision. I have a signed bill of sale right here.
That signature is a forgery. My vet is reporting it to the police right now.
The line went silent for a long beat. Then Keller's voice came back, harder and colder.
I paid $38,000 for that horse. I'm not giving him up unless I get every cent back.
He hung up before she could respond. Emily sat very still, the dial tone humming in her ear. An hour later, her phone lit up again. Keller. She answered with her pulse loud in her throat.
My vet confirmed the signature's off. I want my refund. If your father can pay me back, we'll talk about the horse.
Emily drove back to Frank's house with the printed forgery on the passenger seat. She walked inside and laid the document on the coffee table in front of him.
Where did you get this? This is confidential.
Confidential? You traced my name. Dr. Brandon is reporting it to the police.
All right, I signed it. I had to. The venue needed the deposit that week.
You told the vet? Are you trying to destroy my wedding?
Keller wants his money back. Give him the refund and I won't press charges.
The money's already wired to the venue. I can't get it back.
Then I'll go to the police. Keller will sue for fraud. You've left me no choice.
Go ahead. Call them. Ruin your sister's wedding over a horse.
Emily drove home in silence, the forgery crumpled on the seat. She called Jennifer from her kitchen, trying one last time.
What do you want, Emily? To tell me you've ruined everything?
The deposit Dad sent. Is it refundable? Because if not, Keller will sue for fraud.
You think I didn't check? It's non-refundable. The venue won't return a penny. You've cost me my wedding.
He sold my horse. He forged my name. And you're worried about a party?
It's not a party. It's my life. You've always been so selfish, always the victim. Atlas was just a horse. You can get another.
Emily stared at her phone, the line crackling. The kitchen felt very far away.
She really doesn't see me. She never will.
Emily hung up without a word. She stood there, her hands shaking, then set the phone down on the counter.
I have no sister. I'm filing the report.
Emily walked into the police station with the forged bill of sale in her bag. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead. At the counter, she pulled out the document and flattened it on the laminate.
My father forged my signature on this bill of sale. I need to file a report.
A horse sale? This sounds like a family disagreement. You sure you want to involve us?
She pointed to the signature. The officer studied it, then sighed.
This does look off. I'll take the report. But without more evidence, I can't promise anything.
Emily left the station with a copy of the report. The officer's doubt clung to her like a weight. Her phone rang. Dr. Brandon, she answered, pressing it to her ear.
The buyer's vet filed a formal complaint with the state police. They're opening an investigation.
After the call, a text from Brandon lit the screen. Police are taking this seriously. They want to talk to you. Emily stared at the text. A moment later, her phone rang again. Officer Daniels.
Miss Hayes, we've taken your report seriously. I'll be interviewing your father today.
You'll question him? What happens after that?
If the forgery is confirmed, he'll face charges. But first, I need to hear his side.
She thanked the officer and hung up. The report and the forgery lay on the table. Evidence of a family split wide open.
He's going to be questioned. The police actually want to hear what I have to say.
But the hope was tangled with dread. If Frank was charged, Jennifer's wedding would die, and this rift would never heal.
I wanted my horse back. I didn't ask to be the one who destroys everything.
Her phone lit up with a new message from Dr. Brandon. Keller confirmed he'll cooperate with the police. Stay strong. She pushed back from the table. The house was too small. She needed to stand where Atlas should have been. That afternoon, Officer Daniels arrived at Frank Hayes' house, a file folder tucked under her arm. Frank stepped out onto the porch, his face tightening when he saw the uniform.
Mr. Hayes, I'm investigating a forged bill of sale for a horse named Atlas. Your daughter says she never signed it.
This is a family matter. There's no need for police involvement.
The officer removed the forgery from the folder. She held it out, a scanned copy of the traced signature.
Someone traced your daughter's name. This is forgery, not a misunderstanding.
All right, I signed it. The venue needed the deposit. It was for Jennifer's wedding.
She made a note, then said the investigation would move forward. She left him standing there.
Jennifer, they know. The police are pressing charges.
No! You said it was handled. You promised we'd never get caught.
The next morning, Keller asked Emily to meet at a coffee shop near his stable. She found him waiting, a black coffee untouched between them.
Your father's in trouble. Police are moving fast. I paid $38,000. I want it back.
I don't have that kind of money. The deposit's already spent at the venue.
Then find it. I'll return Atlas today if you refund me yourself.
She couldn't. $40,000 didn't exist in her account.
I can't. The money is gone. Only Frank might pay you, and he's broke.
Then I'll press charges. Fraud and theft. I won't lose a cent.
He leaned back, arms crossed, his weathered face hardening.
I understand. Do what you have to do. I just want my horse back.
Keller said nothing. He picked up his coffee and left her sitting alone at the table. Emily sat alone in her kitchen when Officer Daniels called. She answered with a tight throat.
Ms. Hayes, we've arrested your father on forgery charges. He's been released on bail, but the case is proceeding.
Arrested. Then what?
The forged bill of sale is key evidence. He admitted to signing it. The DA will determine the exact charges.
Emily pictured the interview room, the stark light, the document on the table, Frank's head buried in his hands. Officer Daniels had sat across from him, her voice steady as she presented the forgery. Now Emily felt a strange, cold calm. The system was working.
He sold my horse and thought he'd get away with it. Not anymore.
But beneath the calm, a quiet dread. Her sister's wedding was surely dead, and whatever satisfaction she felt was tangled with the weight of a family unraveling. Jennifer Hayes was at Frank's house when her phone rang. The caller ID read Grand Oak Venue.
This is Jennifer Hayes. Yes, I'm aware of the contract.
The venue manager's reply was blunt. The $38,000 deposit was non-refundable. The date could not be released without penalty.
But there's been a mistake. My father, there's a legal issue. We need that money back right now.
The manager repeated the clause. The contract was binding. When Jennifer started to cry, the line went dead. She tried Emily next. The call rang 6 times before voicemail.
She won't even answer. She's doing this on purpose.
She opened the binder on her lap. Venue photos, flower swatches, seating charts, all of it suddenly meaningless. Her mind wandered to the manicured lawns and white columns she'd dreamed of, slipping away with every passing hour. Then she dialed her father. His phone went straight to voicemail. The house was silent except for her ragged breaths. That evening, Emily drove to Keller Equestrian. She parked near the fence and walked to the paddock. Atlas stood in the far corner, his chestnut coat catching the last of the sun. He lifted his head as if he knew she was there.
Just a few more days. I'm so close.
She couldn't call him to the fence. Not yet. She turned away and walked back to her truck. Later, at her kitchen table, her phone rang. Officer Daniels.
Daniels? What's happening?
Your father wants to avoid jail. He's selling his truck and using his savings to pay Keller back.
He's actually doing it?
He's liquidating what he can. Once the funds clear, Keller will release Atlas.
Emily closed her eyes. The tightness in her chest loosened for the first time in days. Only an hour later, headlights swept across Emily's front window. Jennifer's car was in the driveway.
Please, Emily. You have to drop the charges. The venue won't refund him. Dad's going to lose everything.
I didn't do this to him. He did it to himself when he forged my name.
The wedding is over. I know that. But if they convict him, he'll have a record. He'll never work again.
He sold my horse to pay for a deposit he knew was non-refundable. That wasn't a mistake, Jennifer.
I'll never forgive you.
I can't keep sacrificing everything I love to make your lives easier. Not anymore.
Jennifer's face crumpled. She turned without another word and walked back to her car. The engine started, and the taillights disappeared into the dark. Emily stood in the doorway for a long time, her heart heavy but her mind clear. She had finally drawn the line. On the 9th day after the sale, a police SUV and a horse trailer pulled into Emily's stable yard. Emily heard the engine while she was raking the empty aisle. She walked outside and froze.
Is he really here?
The restitution cleared this morning. Keller signed the release. Atlas is yours.
A stable hand led the chestnut gelding down the metal ramp. The sunlight caught the copper in his coat. Atlas lifted his head and looked directly at Emily. His ears pricked forward.
He knows me.
Take the lead. He's been waiting for you.
Emily stepped forward, her boots quiet on the gravel. The officer and the stable hand fell back. She reached for him, her palm sliding along his neck. The 9 days of grief broke open into silent tears. She wrapped both arms around his neck and let the tears fall into his mane. She led him through the barn to the stall where the brass plate still read Atlas. The stall was clean and deep-bedded, the water bucket full, as if it had been waiting all along.
It really smells the same.
She picked up a grooming brush and ran it over his shoulder in the same circles she'd used for 11 years. Atlas lowered his head over the stall door, his ears soft and his breathing even.
I'm sorry it took so long.
He blew warm air against her cheek, as if nothing had ever been wrong.
But the barn felt different. The same hay, the same horse, but she wasn't the same.
She stood there in the quiet aisle, horse safe at last, and let herself feel the hollow shape of everything else that had been lost. 2 days later, Jennifer's phone rang. It was her fiancé's mother. The forgery story had reached his family, and the wedding was off.
You can't do this, Paul. Listen to me.
The line went dead. She threw the phone at the sofa and called Frank.
They canceled the wedding. Paul's family called me a fraud. It's over.
I paid for that deposit. They took the money fair and square.
But the deposit was non-refundable, and the scandal had leaked to Paul's office.
You forged Emily's name? Everyone knows. I have nothing left.
Frank stood in his kitchen, the phone trembling against his ear, as the DA filed felony forgery charges. Jennifer hung up and sank onto her bed. The white dress bag hung on the closet door, untouched. Days later, a for sale sign appeared on Frank's lawn. The house was dark, the driveway empty. Emily spent the evening in the barn. The only sound, the soft ripple of hay and the steady rhythm of Atlas chewing.
I got him back. But I lost my father and my sister.
She ran the brush along his spine, the familiar motion grounding her. Atlas nudged her arm, as if telling her she'd done enough.
That phone call from Dr. Brandon changed everything. One call.
The title's promise had unwound itself in 9 days. Her vet called, the forgery surfaced, and now Atlas was home.
I didn't want any of this to happen. But I won't apologize for standing up for myself.
She hung the brush on its hook and leaned against the stall door, letting the quiet settle over her. The hay smelled the same as it had 11 years ago, and that was enough. She was not the girl who had walked into an empty stall 9 days ago. She was something steadier, forged by the fire she had survived. The next evening, Emily took Atlas out to the pasture. The sun hung low and golden, casting long shadows over the grass.
16-year-old me stood in the same pasture, holding the same lead rope.
Atlas dropped his head and grazed. The air was calm, and the only sound was the tear of grass.
I built a whole life around him. Ribbons, championships, early mornings when no one else was awake.
She sat on the fence rail and let the sunset wash over her.
They called me selfish, but asking for my horse back wasn't selfish. It was the first time I ever stood up for myself.
Atlas lifted his head and walked toward her, muzzle soft, ears forward.
Hey, sweet boy. We're going to be okay.
She stayed until the sky turned violet and the first star appeared. The ache of the past 9 days was still there, but it was quieter now, gentler, like something slowly knitting back together. Later that night, Emily's phone buzzed on the barn table. A message from Jennifer. The screen read, "I'm sorry, I didn't know." Emily stared at the words for a long moment, then set the phone aside.
She had waited 9 days for an apology. Now it felt like a stone falling into still water ripples, then silence.
She walked to the stall where Atlas stood, with his head over the door, ears forward. The gelding nickered softly at her approach. She didn't open the message again. She simply rested her hand on his warm neck.
She thought of the girl who'd once stood in that stall and promised never to let him go.
The stable was quiet now, the only sound the contented chewing of hay. And in that stillness, Emily Hayes and her horse were finally home.